For today's video, we're going to show you how to take 3 thrifted bar stools and give them a French country inspired makeover. The seats aren't too bad, except for one of them has some damage, so we're going to actually cover over the broken seats with some fabric, and we're going to give them a new paint job.
Aside from a couple chew marks on the actual wood, they're okay as far as the structural integrity of the chairs go.
All right, so we have this fabric here we purchased at Hobby Lobby. The butterflies and the lemons are right on trend, and I think they're sophisticated enough to go well with these chairs. We are going to take this color right here and try to match that on the chair. So we're going to be doing a 50-50 mix of crinoline and white swan.
On these woven reed seats, they're actually screwed in from the top. So the screw is right here, and I think there's 4 of them on this. So these were most likely at a bar or something where someone eats food, so we're just gonna give them a good scrub down.
Well, you don't want chunks of food under your paint finish,
No.
That's never good.
No, you wanna clean it off.
A degreaser sometimes is necessary depending on how greasy they are. Anybody who's had kids at their bar knows that they touch everything.
Spills happen.
We can see though that the original price in here was $279 for each bar stool, and they were on sale for $208 a bar stool.
Got some 80 grit. I'm just gonna do a quick hand sand right here on this edge so that it doesn't look like a kid chewed on it. So anywhere the wood is exposed, we have a potential to have tannins from the wood bleed through. I'm just gonna use some shellac real quick. Seal that in, and now when I paint it, I won't get any discoloration from the natural oils in the wood.
So I'm mixing crinoline and white swan to create a cream that's just a little bit softer than crinoline is. I think it's gonna be a perfect match. I like to do 50-50 because then I can recreate it if I need to very easily. I've got an empty white swan can. I like to save them for purposes like this. And I'm just gonna get out all that paint. So I usually like to use a paintbrush and get out every last drop here. I should just get one of those little spatulas.
All the things.
Don't worry, I'm gonna wipe the screwdriver off when I'm done. All right, so I wanna show you white swan, crinoline, and you can see in the middle the 50-50 mix of the 2 colors.
When I'm spraying chairs or stools, I like to flip them upside down. I'm gonna paint the bottom first, then I'm gonna flip them over. I typically get full coverage with DIY paint in 1 coat of paint. So once I flip them over, every now and then there's like a spot I'll have to get because I'll miss the spot or it's a little thin, but for the most part, 1 coat coverage, even with whites, is what you get. We get asked a lot, how do you eliminate brush strokes? There's lots of methods you can use with a brush to minimize brush strokes, but if you don't want to see any brush strokes in your paint finish, you need to get set up with a sprayer. It's also super handy to spray chairs because it's really fast to hit up all these rungs and different angles and the round parts and the flat parts. And it doesn't take very long to paint a chair, whereas hand brushing, it can be a little tedious and takes a while. It's gonna be a little bit different look on the finish. It's not gonna be as rustic, it's not gonna have that hand painted look, but it's a quick way to get some paint on a project and completely transform the piece. So I have a lot of videos on spraying paint. The DIY paint, when I mix it up, I do 3 parts paint, 1 part water, and then I add about a teaspoon more water in a 20-ounce hopper when I'm painting. So it's a little bit thicker, so I add just a little bit more water. Now that I've got a perfect finish on these, I'm gonna go ahead and distress them and make them look old because that's the way we love it. I'm just using 220 grit on my random orbital sander. We use a DeWalt, just a little 3 amp sander. It works great and it has a replaceable pad. So if you wear the pad out that the sanding disc goes on, if the Velcro doesn't hold anymore, you can just replace the pad for about 10 bucks. I'm using Sweet Pickin's top coat to seal these. It's gonna give us a nice matte sheen. It sprays really well. Sometimes if it's really hot outside, like over 100, I'll add a couple of ounces of water to the mixture when I'm spraying, but usually I just spray at full strength and it goes on really nice and even. All right, so because this was screwed in from the top before, I now need to go in from the bottom. And I want these to go down about 1/2 inch into the top of the seat. So I'm just gonna put a little tape flag right here, and what the tape flag does is it gives me my depth, so when I hit the bottom of the tape, I know I need to stop drilling so I don't go too deep.
All right, so I have pre-cut my batting that I purchased at the craft store. This is just gonna make it so that way you don't see this unfinished edge. We decided to upholster these because one of the seats was broken. So rather than repairing this, we thought this might be an easier fix. So we've got the batting on there. I'm going to lay out my fabric. This fabric is actually rather wide, so I'll probably cut some of it off. Make sure if your fabric has words on it that it's going the right direction. In this case, this is the front of the chair, so when it's flipped forward, you'll be able to actually read the words that are on it. Right here is where the seat will fit, and it's pretty flush. So I cut that batting right up next to it so that way it wasn't too poofy when we were trying to put the seat in. The fabric will come up and over, but that's not as thick as the batting. Come at an angle there. That'll work. So the next step is going to be to attach this. There's actually solid wood on all the edges, so that's where I'm going to be stapling into. All right, it's not the best corner I ever did, but pulled it pretty taut right there. Just a couple of pleats, good to go. This part here will be up against the bar, and I really want to hold this in so this part doesn't get ripped or exposed. So I'm just going to come in and throw some staples in here. These staples will hold this in place. You have to be super careful when you're cutting this, like you got to get it just right or else it doesn't work.
Try not to blink when it snacks.
I can't. Every time. Oh, the front corners always make me nervous because they're the ones that can be seen. The back ones aren't as visible.
Okay, so Jamie's gonna finish upholstering the other two seats, and I'm gonna screw this one in, and then these chairs will be done. These bar stools will be finished.
All right, so I think we did a good job transforming these chairs.
Yeah, you know, a little bit of paint, a little bit of fabric. What is it, 13 bucks for the fabric?
Yeah, we spent like $13 or $14 on the fabric. I can't remember. It's from Hobby Lobby. It's duck cloth, which is great for upholstery, rather inexpensive, and it was 40% off.
Yeah. I
use about 3/4 of a yard per chair. It's a little more than you need, but you never want to get here and then be like, oh, I need more fabric and have to go back. So I always buy a little bit extra.
The chairs were $15 a piece. We're $13 into the fabric. I used 20 ounces of paint, so a little over a pint, and we're gonna sell them for $265 for the set.
Which gives a good profit to us, but also is a great deal because originally that's about how much they were per chair. To find the products that we used today, be sure to go to jamirayvintage.com. Next time you find bar stools or chairs and the Rush, is that what's called, Rush?
Reeds, I don't know.
The next time you find
the woven seat.
the woven seat is broken, don't worry, you don't have to redo the weaving. You can just put some batting and upholster them and they look great. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.